Hi everybody, and happy Monday. Welcome to Happy Hour with Holly. Glad to be back doing this consistently and feeling so much better. Today I'm here with Dr. Joey Kramer with Hope Chiropractic in South Lake.
No, have you been drinking already?
I've not been drinking. I'm drinking water. Oh my gosh. Whew. So here we are. As most of you may or may not know, hi Renee, I am an Arbonne consultant, and the next 20 to 30 minutes are not about me at all. They're about Joey and his business and the philosophy behind Hope Chiropractic, which I'm really excited to share. I am actually one of his patients and can't say enough good things as well. So hi, Katie. So just to start off, I don't know, I was telling Joey I either have a continuing cold or allergies, but
everybody
anyway.
has it right now.
Yeah,
it's like everybody's coming in here saying they all sound sinusy.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
It's all the humidity and the oaks and maybe.
Yeah. I don't know what it is.
I'm new to Texas. I never had allergies before, so
okay.
I'm not
there
really
we go.
sure. So Joey and I met at a networking event.
We did, in Grapevine.
In Grapevine Chamber of Commerce. And I immediately set up a time to meet with him for a care standpoint, not a business standpoint, because I needed a chiropractor here. And I did see an upper cervical chiropractor in California and loved it, so I was excited to find him. And then we've also just kind of become friends with our spouses and some other people that we met through the Grapevine Chamber. So, and Joey, you're from here, right?
I am, born and raised.
Okay.
So Flower Mound, where you are from,
yes.
1171 and 2499 is where we grew up.
Okay. And
actually 3040 and 2499. So I grew up at the end of the Flower Mound, the actual mound itself.
Well, and that's where we kind of lived down that direction.
There was no tum-thum. That was all grass, cattle. It was 2 lanes, blacktop, both ways, and it was that dead ended. So to get out of Flower Mound, you had to go 30-40 all the way to 35, and 35 took you into Dallas. That's how you got out of there.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow, and now there's like Dairy Queen.
There's everything.
Everything.
Yeah,
any junk food that you would want. Chick-fil-A. You know how I feel about that. Well, that's good. And now you're married to Katie.
Married to Katie. She's watching right now.
Yes. Hi, Katie. And 2 little girls.
2 little ones, 5-year-old, 2-year-old, 1 on the way. Don't know if it's a girl.
I was just going to ask you.
It's probably going to be a girl.
Probably.
We don't find out.
Okay. You didn't find out with anyone?
We don't find out at all. No, we'll wait and see what it's going to be.
So I have 3 kids, and my first 2 we didn't find out because Chris said there's only one real surprise in life, and that's how we do. Yeah. But with our 3rd, I was like, you got to choose the first 2.
Yeah.
I'm choosing. I want to find out this one.
She went and got a sonogram done a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, did you ask them? And she was like, no, but they knew. And I was really hard to sit there and be like,
I know. Well, that's every time we'd go get an ultrasound, they'd be like, do you know the sex? I'm like, no, don't tell me.
Yeah. So that's where we're at right now. She wants to know, and I'm like, hold out, stay strong.
Yeah. It's so hard.
Yeah.
And when do you do?
She's due November 11th through the 18th, plus or minus 2 weeks.
Getting close.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
Oh, congratulations. Yeah. Well, hope for a boy, but
I don't know.
Happy with whatever.
We'll be happy with whatever we have.
Yeah. So tell me about your chiropractic. How did you get into this? Because you haven't been doing this forever.
No, I haven't. Okay. No, not at all. I got exposed to chiropractic early in life. I think it was my freshman year of high school. I was in wrestling. Oh. Had a bad back injury. And my wrestling coach was like, you need to see a chiropractor. My parents never really went this route. We never did it. So we went and saw a guy. He still practices today. He's in Coppell. Okay. Yeah, his name's Doug Bedichek. He's a really good dude. Okay. And he got me on back pain. I mean, that's really what it was. Okay. Didn't see him again until sophomore year of college. Okay. Had a bad injury throwing discus. Went and saw him. And I did the same thing. Fixed me the way that he did. And it was great. Okay. And that was cool. And then I didn't really have an engagement with it much after that. Okay. What is this? This is I graduated college in 2008. I'm young, and so Katie was a twinkle in my eye at this point. She's just a friend. Okay. I went into construction, and so I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life. I had a history degree. And so, it's really funny.
What do you do with that?
What do you do with the history degree? Well, it's in Asian studies with a minor in Japanese and another minor in Spanish. So you tell me what you're going to do with that. Right? You go work on a scrap metal scale where people speak Spanish, and you work with people that are international, right? And that was my startup job. And so first job out of school was it was called like a business management like trainee position.
Okay.
So their theory was 6 months on a scrap scale,
Gotcha.
6 months in operations, and rotate you through until they can move you into a operational position in the business.
Give
right?
you experience and
Give you experience. What an amazing concept in today's day and age, right? Education didn't provide anything, so that's exactly what happened. And I ended up getting moved into the project management side. So I moved into steel sales, which was rebar highway division.
Okay.
Don't know if that doesn't really matter to you.
No, well, my brother does steel sales.
Okay.
My dad is a sheet metal.
Okay, sheet metal.
Like
so,
this is,
so that's like rolled. That's a rolled steel.
Yeah.
This is like fabricated. This is rebar. So it's a different story.
Okay.
Before you moved here, 114 was only 3 lanes both ways.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And you had hell traffic. I mean, like getting into South Lake, like you would have come today, would have taken you 2 hours, and getting home would have taken you 2 hours from here. Okay. And so we widened the highway to 18 lanes across.
Okay. And
with
you were
toll
part
lanes,
of that?
I was on that job.
Okay.
That was what I did.
And for those of you who have not been to Texas or this part of Texas, like the
we love highways. They're always under construction 90% of the time.
Yes, and like the overpasses, like there are no mountains here, so the only time you get a view of anything is if you're on an overpass. Like I was like, we go on an overpass, I'm like, look kids, everybody look, you can see something.
You
like,
can see
that's
the
only
Cowboy
time,
Stadium.
Yeah,
There it is.
There
it is.
Oh my gosh, there's some here. Okay,
so I worked highway division. Nothing really happened with that, but
how long did that take?
That job was an 8-year build, but I was only on it for 2.5 because the company went through a restructuring. They fired 1,800 people in a day. So they had 6,000 employees. They fired whatever it was, 20% of the staff. Got green slipped.
Wow.
Like it was like that's what happened on that day. I was one of those lucky candidates.
Okay.
Did a really good job with my supplier who was doing the highway build, so they hired me to go work for them.
Okay.
So I don't know how much you know about construction. It's a hard life. It's different. You work 16-hour shifts.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is, right? And so during that time, though, I have to segue. I was always into health and fitness. Okay. Been a part of my life. Diagnosed with ADHD early on in life, 2nd, 3rd grade, 4th grade, 3rd, 4th really. Okay. Put on Ritalin, and it turned me into zombie kid. Okay. It was terrible. Like it was just a really rough experience. So at the end of like 4th grade, my mom goes, "We're taking you off Ritalin, you're done." And it was hell for both of us just doing that. So she was very into the activity side of the ADHD side, the hyperactivity side. Okay. So she would be like, "I'm so mad at you. I want you to go ride your bike around the block like 15 times as fast as you can." Okay. And by like lap number 3, I'm smiling, and then by lap 15, it's over. Like your episode is done, right? Yeah. So we compensated the hyperactivity with activity. That's what we did.
How smart of her.
Yeah, and so we had trampolines. I was always 3 or 4 sports. I was always very, very busy. Now that I have kids of my own, I'm realizing how much of a sacrifice that was to take you to all these practices, to do all these things that kept me very busy. And you have siblings? I have a younger brother. He's 6 years younger. He's adopted. An older brother who's deceased. And so that's how that worked. Okay. Mom had endometriosis, had hysterectomy at 26 years old. Oh. Yeah, so no more kids, which is really rough.
So you weren't the only one she was shuttling around?
No, I was not. Younger brother also. Okay. But that was really important in my life because sports is what gave me an outlet for energy, right? People talk about how they have a bad day. Well, if I have a bad day, I'm going to go beat myself up on a hill for 2 hours, and then it'll clear over. It's my thinking time, right? Yeah. Yeah. So that's how I handle my days like that. So, in that time frame, though, there's multiple pieces that happen. So, CrossFit's introduced in 2009. Okay. Comes out 2008, 2009. At the same time, there's a physical therapist. His name is Kelly Starrett, and he has a slogan that says, "Pony up America. You shouldn't need a new hip." And his point being is that we got so lazy with our own maintenance of our body that people were just opting for hip replacements instead of taking care of themselves. Okay. And so he was on this big flag saying, "You don't need hip surgery. This is ridiculous. You need to actually take care of your own body." Okay. And so he invented a 365-day online YouTube video that was 5 to 10 minutes long about how to stretch. Oh, it was all free. It's called Mobility Y. You just go look up the first 300 episodes. They're all free. He charges for it now. Okay. But the first ones, it was him in his garage hey guys, Kelly Starrett, like we're doing right now, talking about this. And he goes, here's a stretch for your shoulder. Here's some pain, right? Here's how you get rid of neck pain. Here's how you get rid of back pain. And so I've implemented a lot of these stretches in my own life, but I give to a lot of patients. And so if we segue back to the career, when I went over to the construction side of the equation, I hated life. It was terrible, right?
Because you were working so much.
Because you're working so much. There's no, I was young at the time, but I also wanted to have a family. And like there wasn't a lot of foreseeable like good things, right? They start you off at, 6 figures, and they give you a truck, they do all these things, and you work, but they work the daylights out of you to make sure they earn every single last penny of that.
Okay. Were you dating your wife already at this time?
No, we were married at this point. No, we were married. We got married in 2010. So so we've been married by this point, a year and a half.
Okay.
I went to Katie and I said, I want to change careers. Okay. She's like, what do you want to do? And I go, I think I want to be a doctor. And she goes, you tried that at TCU, you failed. And I was it was like one of those things, right? She may have not said that. Maybe I'm just adding a little English to the story, right? But that's what happened. Like TCU, I was like, I'm going to be a doctor. And I remember I got my first chemistry test back, and it was like a 24. Okay. And I was way more interested in booze, alcohol, girls.
In your life.
I was at a different point in my life. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, so what are my 3 options? We'd say we have MD, we have a physical therapy, or we have chiropractic. And so alignment-wise, we didn't align with medical doctors. We just haven't. It's never been something that we follow in life. Okay. Do they do amazing things? Yes. But I wasn't one to say, I have a cough, I'm going to go to the doctor. Yeah. Or I would try to figure out how to just get over it and take care of it. Maybe it's just my stubbornness as a person. Okay. And so then the other option was physical therapy or chiropractic. At the time, I don't know how it is now, but you got to take the GMAT to go to physical therapy. Okay. I'm not very good at standardized tests, and I was just like, I'm not doing that. And so chiropractic was right in. So I had to just go take some science courses. Okay. They would let me know right away if I was going to be able to do it. Oh. And so this was like, it was like, what was it? It was a 9-month period, and you took chemistry 1, chemistry 2, organic chemistry 1, organic chemistry 2, anatomy, physiology, physics 1, physics 2. Oh, gosh.
Is this through a chiropractic school or through something?
Yeah, they have accelerated sciences. There's a college there that has accelerated health sciences. And so I passed all those with like 105. Like I had like the highest GPA in the class. I had no problem because I was disciplined enough, had enough desire to do it. Yeah. And so our prayer process moved us into chiropractic. Okay. That's a really long story on how I got there. But that's how we did it. So,
and how did you decide on upper? So describe because most people think of chiropractic and they think of going
my back
and
hurts,
people,
my neck hurts.
Yeah, and people like cracking you and like.
My buddy told me, he goes, I'm going to start you like I start my Harley. Lay on your side. And turn you sideways and crunch you, right? Like that's what he talks about. And that's really what my experience was with chiropractic. Yeah. Right, I call it the flying 7 or the pop and pray. It's when they lay you on your left side, crack you, right side, crack you, 3 times down your back, twice at your neck. Yeah. You don't find out why they do that until you go to school, because that's a 98943. It codes for $57 a visit, and so they can charge you that. Oh, instead of actually doing something ethical, like caring for the patient and giving an adjustment when it's necessary, versus just guessing. Yeah. Right, that's where that whole shift happens when you start to see why people do what they do. Okay. So it turns out, history degree turns out to be really important when you go to chiropractic school. Okay. You go in and you have to consume large amounts of data in very short periods of time. So we take all the same classes as medical doctors. Okay. So you have all the gross anatomies, you have the biochemistries, the pharmacology, toxicology, you have it all. I mean, it's neuroscience, you're our same core electives until we become a chiropractor. Okay. Right, where you would go to a residency in MD, that's where we separate. Okay. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. So I get to like my 4th, 5th trimester, and we get done taking all these classes on like X-ray. Okay. And you learn that bone doesn't move more than like 0.5 millimeters between right and left side. Okay. Then you take neuro, and you understand that you can check the body between right and left sides. These things are all fascinating. And then you go to chiropractic class, and you're like, well, how do I know the bone's out of place that needs to be adjusted? And I know I need to adjust that segment. You're like, oh, it feels like it's out. And I'm like, dude, you have 3 inches of tissue between your surface of your skin and your bone. And then you have another, 0.5 millimeters. So if you can take a 3-inch pad and move a penny 0.5 millimeters, then I'm going to believe you, but I don't otherwise, right? And so at that point, I started doing some digging and found this amazing thing called history of chiropractic. I don't know why I didn't go there in the first place, being a historian.
Yeah.
But there's a guy who wrote all these books, and there's like 39 of them, and it documents the entire history of chiropractic from virtually 1895 until 1961 when the guy dies.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's amazing, right? So and the guy himself wrote volume 18 to volume 39.
Okay.
And what he did was he went out to prove why chiropractic and only upper cervical care is all you need in your life.
Okay.
He had a big research facility. I had a book. Here's one of this is an example of what it looks like. I mean, they're called green books. I mean, if you guys don't really care, but in that book, it's 1951. And he says at that point, he's collected 537,000 scans.
Oh my gosh.
So scans that you and I did, the same exact scans of patients that have come through his clinic. And I'm like, why aren't we scanning? It's cool.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, that stuff's not valid. And I'm like, well, it's not valid because, and they say, well, we don't have an answer. And so then you start to do the research on thermography, and you find that it is actually valid, that you can actually evaluate the neurological integrity, and that you can actually look at the biomechanics of the upper cervical spine and have an impact on the whole system. And so for being an analytical brain, I was like, this makes really sense, because then I know ethically that you need to be adjusted, and I know where to adjust you, and I know when to adjust you. And then I also know that it's going to take a little bit of time to fix you, because this guy, his average case would take about 9 months.
Okay.
Right, and one of your favorite things you and I talk about is the resting chairs, right? They're the greatest thing in the world. So in his clinic, you had to rest for 4 hours.
Yeah, that's great.
That's great, right? Isn't that nice? Like, can you imagine going there for 4 hours?
I'm gonna go for 5 hours.
Yeah, I'll be back 5 hours. Like, that's not realistic in today's day and
Yeah.
age, but that's how he had it all set up, was because his goal was, how do we limit these variables of life and create a stable environment for you to be the best version of yourself? So, I didn't want to be the traditional back guy. Back pain is great, and we can help a ton of people with it. We do amazing things, but I wanted to be like the quality of life person. Like, okay, this is inhibiting you from being the best version of you. Yeah. So how do we make you better, right? What do we do to ensure that you're better? And the only way you can do that is by impacting the nervous system. So if you fix the nervous system, then you become a better version of yourself. Simple. Yeah.
So I had no idea chiropractic has been going on for that long.
1895. X-ray was made in 1906. Wow. Doctor of osteopathy was 1896 also. Mesmer was the guy who trained the DO guy, who also trained the chiropractic guy. Okay. The DO guy went with the blood as being the most important system, and the chiropractic guy went with the neurological system. Okay. That was the separation, the two fields. And then DOs got assumed by MDs, probably sometime in like the 70s, 80s, when insurance became this huge fad. Yeah. So.
It's not going away.
No. It might go away, you never know. So, yeah.
That's crazy. So, one of my kind of favorite stories about your practice is Dr. Kramer. Sorry.
You can say Joey, you're fine.
Okay, sorry. You did a client appreciation night. And so he invited all of his clients to come and have kind of a meal together, break bread.
We're doing it in October this year.
Okay, yay. So become a client so you can come to this, because it's really fun. But it's fun to get to talk to other people.
Smoking brisket.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, I know.
Coming.
Yeah, we make sure Chris is in town.
Yeah, I was like,
I gotta make sure Levon and Rick are ready to come too, and Kristen also. She's gonna be ready for it.
Yeah. We need to plan ahead.
I know.
I need to know like a year in advance.
Okay. Good.
So I'm sitting here. In fact, it was in this room. You had some Legos set up for some kids, and people were coming in, and there were 2 people that came in that had both been quadriplegics, which is fascinating stories on their own. But there were a couple of people that were talking about how after coming to see you, they were able to poop. Sorry, my kids talk about
I have a guy who got me a T-shirt that says "I pooped today" and it has my logo on it. And that's a guy doing this, and that's it. He gave it to me.
Well, yeah, he was wearing an "I pooped today" shirt.
I know.
So tell me how, by having upper cervical care, it helps you with your
everything.
Back. Yeah.
It's funny. So people come in with like all these ailments.
Right.
Right. We see everything you can think of. I had a lady come in this last week. She goes, "What's your most weird case?" And I go, "Well, I had a lady come to me with bloody noses." She goes, "Why didn't you go to the medical doctor?" I go, "I adjusted her one time. The bloody noses went away." It's like, what do you want to do, right? And that's it. So it's fascinating. So as we dove down this path of neurology, we learned like the body is wired and harnessed by almost 85% of your entire neurological system goes through that top bone of your neck. Wow. And if it changes one position, you get a deficit of how your brain perceives the world. And so this is a change in what we call autonomic tone.
Okay.
Autonomic system is very simple. It runs from your neck to your nuts. That's the easiest way to remember it. I'm serious. That's how you remember it in school, right? You go to boards. Is it between the neck and the nuts? Then it's an autonomic system issue.
Okay.
It has to be regulated by parasympathetic, which is your brake pedal,
Okay.
or gas pedal, which is sympathetic. So if a car drove through this window right now, our blood would rush to our extremities. We'd jump up, sprint out the door if the car didn't hit us, and you'd be like, "Whoa, that was awesome!" Right? Like that's the kind of thing. I'd be more like, "Holy shit, what was that?" Right?
Awesome.
But the parasympathetic side of the equation is the resting digest. It's when you are calming, when you like yoga is very stimulating of this. Deep nasal breathing does this. There's various pieces of our equation. And what we find is that Americans are about 90% sympathetic dominant, which is a problem because that's always being in a fight or flight mode.
Yeah.
So from an evolutionary perspective, we needed this system because if the lion is chasing Krug, he needed to be able to jump up the tree and escape the lion, right? Or hit the lion with a baseball bat or whatever he used, a club, right? And then all of a sudden after it's over, he killed said lion, then they would go and all their system would calm down. Well, now you get in traffic, you get ticked off, you jump on Facebook, you look at your finances, somebody said something bad about me, you all these outside noise attacking your body, so you're always in defense mode. And you never let your cortisol ramp down, you never let your body calm down, so you're never gonna poop. Because what's the last thing you wanna do when a lion's chasing you? Stop and take a dump?
Right.
No, you don't wanna do that, right? You're not gonna think about having sex either.
Yeah.
You're not gonna think about breathing, you're not gonna hope that your heart pumps enough, you're not gonna think about digesting your food. Or going to the bathroom or any of that, right? And so that's why we have these problems right now, is we have, especially with our kids, is we have a lot of them in this hyper stress state.
Yeah.
And if you are able to regulate a balanced neurological system, all of that goes away, right? And it equates to having, better ability to go to the bathroom, better sleep at night, less bedwetting. They have better function in class, less, more ability to focus. Right. One of the big problems that people like is it's a boy. He doesn't sit still in class.
Right.
Tell me a freaking 4th grade boy that's going to sit still.
Yeah.
They're made to go outside, play cowboys and Indians, run around crazy until they from sun up to sundown, and then go back to bed and do it all over again.
Now you want them to sit in class for 8 hours.
Now you want them to sit in class for 8 hours straight and sit like little Miss Jocelyn, who wants to be really calm and just draw and be really. Doesn't work. We're not wired that way.
Yeah.
And so it's a problem. It's a big problem we have. So. What we see is that when you balance the system, it all goes away, and they all get better.
And you're treating a lot of kids now.
I am. A lot of kids. There should be a lot of kids in here when you come in.
Well, yeah, it's just there's kids here. I notice your testimonials have kids.
Yes.
So what are people bringing them to you for? What exactly are the main things that?
The last 6 kids that have come in have been ADHD.
Okay.
ADHD. One was told that he has pitcher's elbow. He's played one game of baseball in his life, and they said that you have pitcher's shoulder.
Oh.
So what this poor dad had to do, go on this goose chase. They went to an orthopedic. They gave him shoulder injections. They said his shoulder's too small, that he needs to go see the chiro. So they go to a full spine chiro. The full spine chiro tells him that he's progressed too far. They can't help him anymore, and the kid still can't lift his arm over his head.
How old is this child?
How old is he? He's 4th grade, 5th grade.
Oh my gosh.
12, 13 years old, right? The kid's meant to be playing. So he comes in. I give him 2 adjustments. He's playing throwing a baseball, swinging a bat. I told the dad, I said, it's going to take 3 or 4 visits. The kid will be great. Now he comes in on wellness because he's the dude is functioning great. Yeah. And our goal is to let him go thrive and be a kid, not just be sitting there and dealing with these issues, right? So the problem wasn't the shoulder, it was his neck. Just had to be addressed. Bloody noses was another kid. I have a kid with eczema, chronic eczema coming in, and that's all gone away. What else have I got on kid-wise? I have a lot of high schoolers coming in with a lot of stingers from football. Okay. I mean, that's the route that they're coming in from.
Well, and I know just from my own personal experience, I think last week I was having a problem with my hips, and I was like, "Are you sure this is going to help my hips?"
Yes.
Like,
and it helped right away.
I'm sure. Yeah, it helped right away, and then by 2 days later, it was even better. And
and then you need a little massage.
And I need a little massage.
And then it helped. That's it.
I'm good to go.
Yeah.
I've been working out strong almost every day.
I'm proud of you. Remember last?
Thank you.
I'm
I
like,
hate
don't
working
work out.
out. Well,
Yeah,
I
you
hate working out. I really
right?
do hate working out.
So I have a buddy of mine right now. His name's John, and he goes, "I hate running." And I make him run with me.
Oh my gosh.
And so we have to
In
change
the heat?
Yeah, in the heat. You got to change the conversation, right?
Yeah.
So if you keep on saying to yourself that I hate running,
I know.
all you're ever going to do is hate.
Yeah.
So if you say, "Thank you, God, for this opportunity to work out,"
Yeah.
you're going to start to learn to love it.
Well, I have this parenting forum thing that I'm a part of, or it's called Positive Parenting Solutions. I can't
Ooh.
recommend it enough. It's awesome.
Great.
But she sends emails, and she said, like, change 2 words in every sentence.
Sure.
From, like, and this is obviously in relation to children, like, oh, I have to drive my kids to baseball. I have to get my kids up this morning, and say, I get to drive my kids to baseball. I get to get my kids up for school tomorrow. And the same thing, like, not, I hate to run or I hate to work out. I get to go work out today because I'm healthy, or whatever. But I think, oh my gosh, how powerful is that? Those 2 words.
Psychology is huge.
Yeah.
It's like your Arbonne 30 day.
Yes.
So one thing I think about with this is a lot of people have objections.
Yes.
And their objections are all, I have to give up booze, I have to do this, and it's all these negative assessments, right? And I have a buddy of mine named Carl, and he wrote a book. It's called Common Sense Transition.
Okay.
It's geared towards military personnel transitioning into civilian life. And one of his key tactics he uses is the phrase you ask yourself. So today I'm talking to Carl, and he just did the Hotter Than Hell 100 bike ride. So it's over in Wichita Falls. It's 110 degrees. It's 100 miles on a bike.
Okay.
And so he goes, I need to break 5 hours next year. I go, Carl, that's a wrong statement. And he goes, what, are you going to ninja my brain? I go, I'm going to use some of your own medicine. And I go, your question is, what do I have to do to break 5 hours?
Oh.
So what do I have to do to ensure that I finish the 30 day?
Yeah.
Right? Well, I have to check in with Holly. I got to get on the Facebook group. I got to weigh myself in. I need to take pictures. And all these things add up to you having a better quality of life. Yeah.
That's true.
That's like I say here, what do you have to do to get the results that you want?
Yeah.
Well, you have to invest some time, right? You didn't get sick overnight. You're not going to get better in one adjustment. It just will not happen.
Yeah.
That's a lie. It's a fallacy. It's Western medicine. That is not what we do.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, people want quick fixes for everything.
They do.
And it's just not realistic.
Yes.
Because I think, especially with health, I mean, it takes you
years
to feel that awful
to gain
or gain
85
that weight
pounds.
or whatever. Yeah,
Oh,
you're not going to lose it in a month or 2 months or 6 months. Like, it takes time.
It takes time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, thank you for mentioning the 30 day.
You're welcome.
I'm on the 30 day, and yes, I
lost 20 pounds on the 30 day.
20 pounds, thank you.
But
you feel good, right?
I worked out 3 hours a day. I was going at it.
Crazy.
I was going way too crazy with that. I was on a mission. I'm still on a mission. We're still working on it. Yeah.
Well, you've got all sorts of other plans for working out and changing your health, and it's good. I mean, you just need to make a goal, set a plan, and follow through. Mm-hmm. And I am drinking water. I cheated this weekend. I'm not gonna lie. You saw my pictures, but we were celebrating.
Good.
And that's the thing,
you
can't be perfect all the time. But when you can make good choices, you can. Tonight, I'm having water because
whiskey.
It's a good night to make a good choice.
Super good. It's delicious.
Well, thank you for taking the time tonight. If you have questions for Dr. Kramer, I have his website in the comments.
Sure.
Obviously.
You can find me, Instagram is Dr_Joey_Kramer.
Okay.
Or you can do at Hope Southlake. I'm on there also. Yeah. Anything at Hope Southlake will pull all of my business. So that's YouTube, Twitter, that's LinkedIn, that's Facebook, that's Google, whatever the coolest trend is lately with all these hipster kids coming out. Like, I don't even know what it is.
I have no idea.
I'm not on any of the dating apps. Sorry. Happily married.
Well,
not gonna. Yeah. At Hope Southlake Bumble. What's up? Hey.
Match.com.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's make sure.
So,
Well, cheers. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Awesome.
And thanks for watching. If you are a small business owner, whether you're local to the Dallas-Fort Worth area or not, I would love to interview you and share your knowledge and business with my network. So shoot me a message and we can set up a time. And that's it. Do you mind pressing the button?
I'll press it.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.